Apologies if you just heard that on Instagram. Perfect. There's not an error, is there, Facebook? Don't do that to me. There we go. Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what feels like the first Temple Talk of the year, even though it isn't. I'm back. I was ill for like 2 or 3 months at the beginning of the year, and then I just kind of needed more of a break from these Temple Talks. So I think I'm going to be doing these a bit differently than they used to be. I think I'll be doing them maybe twice monthly. So one week it'll be me talking about a subject, probably that you guys vote on, unless I've got something particularly important that I want to discuss. And then I'm hoping I can get some guest speakers in every now and then. I think that would be really cool for like the second one of each month. But anyway, yes, hello, welcome all of those who don't know who I am, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. My name's Rebecca Burgess, and I'm the founder and mother priestess of the Temple of Cornwall. At the moment, we're a roaming pop-up temple all over Cornwall, but soon enough, we will be having our own permanent physical temple space. I'm sure it's coming. I know it's coming. And we offer lots of different offerings to you in devotion to the spirit of Cornwall, one of which is these temple talks, where I bring you into my home temple space for the Temple of Cornwall. I light the Sacred Flame of Cornwall, which is this big green candle right here, for those wondering. And we spend about 15 minutes to half an hour talking about a subject that's usually been voted on for you guys. So today's subject is going to be Cernunnous, the god of the wild. Facebook keeps shouting at me, and I don't know why. Action needed. There's no action needed. Too low FPS. Okay. Deal with it. I don't like Facebook at the moment. Not getting on. Yes, this week's Temple Talk is all about the god of the wild, Lord Cernunnous. And he is something that my current students in the mystery school in their first year are currently exploring quite deeply. And from what I've heard from the couple that I've spoken to, they're feeling his presence quite strongly, which I love. Beltane, it's my time of year. I love it. I adore it. It's the time of Facebook could stop blathering on for a moment. If you're watching this on Facebook, there's a comment. Is it going to show me the comment? No, it never does. Do you know what? I've had it up to here with Facebook. Not looking at that again. Yes, Beltane is the pagan festival of sex and fire and rejuvenation and fertility and empowerment. And it's just, it's a little bit of me. I do love it. So we've recently-ish, like in the past few months, explored Cernunnous in these temple talks. And it was a very kind of a light peppering of what Cernunnous is. Now, I thought I'd take you one step deeper this time round, not quite as deep as my students go, because that's reserved for my beloved mystery school people. But I'll take you just a little step further than I perhaps took you last time. So today we'll be looking at the 3 different faces of Cernunnous, and that is the protector, the masculine divine lover, and the wild man of the woods. So we'll start with protector. It's a nice place to start. I feel like Maria von Trapp. I'm sure that's a song somewhere in a Sound of Music. But yes, let's start with protector. So as protector, our horned god Cernunnous, can you see him here? He's right there. Yeah, you can see him on Facebook and YouTube. You can kind of see him on Instagram. Yeah, you get the idea. I'm just going to move Facebook because I can't really see the comments. There we go. Hello, everyone. I can see who's joined on Instagram as well. That's a novelty. So yes, protector. So the horned god Cernunnous comes to us as our protector. Now, most people in the spiritual community that come to me for teachings happen to be women. It's very lovely. It's a privilege and one that I don't take for granted. And women have I'm pretty sure this is just a woman's problem, if you like. It may be a man's as well, but women in particular feel extremely vulnerable working their magic out on the land, out in nature, especially if they're alone, if they're not with their, witchy priestess friends or their coven or whoever. It can feel quite scary, I think, at times, especially if it's a sacred place that you don't quite know very well. Which I never recommend doing magic at places you don't know very well, for starters. You never know what's there. But with Cernunnous, whenever we, sometimes we just have that urge to go and rub the earth on our wounds and bleed into the soil. Whenever we have that overwhelming urge, we can go to whatever sacred site calls to us. For me, it's usually Hellman's Tor, which is just a stone's throw that way. And there we can call in the god Cernunnous as the protector, as the man that will surround us and create that barrier. Now, he comes to us twofold as protector. He comes to us with a sword and he comes to us with a shield. Now, his shield, you can, when you call him into your space to help protect the area that you're working your magic in general, you can imagine that he picks up his shield and throws it down into the earth, and that creates the sacred barrier, the magical circle around you, through which no ill intentions, nobody can get to you. And you can also ask that it make you invisible when he slams his shield into the floor, and make you kind of disappear, like the flying car in Harry Potter, or the invisibility cloak. You just won't be seen by anybody around. And now that sounds hella woo-woo, even for a temple, I'm sure, but it's crazy how true that really is. So when I used to work in retail, which many lifetimes ago, there would just be some days where I didn't want to deal with the particular sort of general public that would come into that shop on that day. So it used to be every Wednesday, I would just, in the staff room, I would just ask Cernunnous, just please plant your shield in my energy field. Just don't let me be seen by anybody other than like the absolute necessary people, like my manager and, whoever. Just don't let them see me. And it was always on a Wednesday, which was one of the busiest days at the shop, where I'd be left alone. I'd be able to like sort delivery out for most of the day. Nobody would ask me any stupid or inane questions. And I know there's not meant to be any stupid questions, but if you work in retail, there are so many stupid questions. Hi, Vida. Yeah, you magical folk get it. You know what's happening. So yeah, I would just be left to my own devices because of Lord Cernunnous and his magical, powerful shield. So his sword, so we have his shield of kind of protection and invisibility, if you like. And then with his sword, ooh, it's all kicking off. Sorry again if that's bothering anyone on Instagram, the noises that are coming through. So then he comes with his sword as well. Now his sword packs a bit more of a punch, as you can probably imagine. His sword is only used to ward off any sort of evil or ill intentions. You can even use it to like cleanse your auric field, like you would one of these, like a selenite, a thame, except his sword would be a sword. And you can ask that he like goes over your body with this and releases any sort of bindings or unnecessary attachments. He releases any hexes, evil eyes, curses, or any kind of like emotional attachments that don't serve you anymore. That's what you could ask him to do with his sword. So when you're out working on the land, he's thrust his shield into the floor, and he will also thrust his sword into the earth as well. Let your imagination go crazy with that metaphor. We love some divine smut here in the Temple of Cornwall. And his sword will again serve as that kind of, barrier, like thou shalt not cross sort of barrier. And again, that won't so much serve as the invisibility of the shield, but it will very much act as a warning to anybody who even thinks about crossing that boundary, whether it's physical boundary or kind of a like emotional or etheric boundary. It will give them. I've always experienced kind of like a couple of warning shots, if you like, as in people who have who I've been protected from have experienced a couple of warning shots. And that's always a little bit fun. I know it shouldn't be, but it is. Yeah, it's really interesting because you're usually at that point, if it ever happens, it's so rare that it does. But if it did ever happen, you're so deep in your work by that point that you're completely oblivious to whatever, magic Cernunnous is off kind of weaving into the wildness of whatever's happening in your space. Oh, Facebook just keeps trying me today. I know my webcam's crappy. It doesn't matter. No one's upset apart from you. If you're watching this live, can you tell me if it actually looks genuinely bad? Because Facebook keeps telling me it does. And it doesn't on my end. So just let me know if it's like unbearable, unwatchable quality, please. And I will do something about it if it is. Yes. Anyway, apologies. So yes, Cernunnous is protector. He comes with his shield of protection and invisibility and his sword that threatens those who dare cross your boundaries. So now we come to Cernunnous as the divine masculine lover. This is my... Oh, I love it. I just love it so much. So again, if we're speaking from a woman's point of view, and if there's any men watching, whether live or in the replay, do comment kind of your experiences with Cernunnous in each of these kind of faces. It'd be really interesting to get that point of view. But yes, as women, I don't think there's many women alive today who have had only positive experiences with masculine lovers. That doesn't mean we haven't had great experiences. That just means, I can't remember the percentage, but there's a high percentage of women in each country that experience sexual harassment, abuse, and even worse things than that. So things aren't in our favor in that department, really, if you're, a cis woman or even a trans woman. So it's a big part for me on my sexual trauma womb healing journey has always been, and probably will always continue to be, accepting and embracing the divine masculine as lover into my life, rather than being scared of it, because it's so easy to be scared or worried or anxious or whatever, whatever kind of feelings that arise up for you if you're a woman who has some sort of trauma like that. Rather than kind of, so I completely lost my train of thought there. Rather than getting kind of lost in that forever, I find it really helpful to kind of get closer with the divine masculine in the form of Cernunnous, not in a sexual way. I don't really condone sexual acts with gods. I don't understand enough about it. I'd love to, but I've never tried it. It's not something I particularly teach at the Temple of Cornwall Mystery School. But yeah, more in like rediscovering my sensuality with the safety of the divine masculine. You want to learn or relearn that safety that's available to us at all times. It's just whether we can see through our own kind of trauma, I suppose, to see it. So yes, as the divine masculine lover, he comes to us with that complete sense of our wants and needs are vitally important. Our wants and needs are, our consent is important. And also he knows you in such an intimate way, almost as like an actual lover that you've spent years with and you've always been in the honeymoon phase. He knows you as well as that. He knows when you're in the mood or the right space to be surprised by some like afternoon lovemaking. He knows when you just need a cup of cacao and friends on TV. He knows everything about you. And he will, as the God, he will relay that to you so that you can better serve yourself as lover. There was, what's her name? Let me find her. Ooh, sorry if that really messed up the audio on YouTube or Facebook. I was watching this woman's stories on Instagram the other day. She does cosmic flow yoga here in Cornwall. And I can't remember her name. And I want to let you all know because she's amazing. Well, this is incredibly annoying. I'm just going to carry on talking while I'm looking for her details because I really want to get her here. So yes, anyway, this woman who I will surely find in just a second was talking about being your own lover, and that really stuck with me as something that Cernunnous can help us with. And I know it's kind of untraditional, I suppose, to think of a masculine god helping women kind of rediscover and almost rebirth their own sexuality and sensuality. But I that has been revolutionary for me. I still am all about the Lilith and the Rhiannon and the Mary Magdalene and like the pussy witch energies. Always have been, always will be. But the moment I discovered, still not having it. Do you know what? I will find her after this and put it in the comments of the replay, and you can go and find her there. But she does cosmic flow yoga here in Cornwall, and she's amazing. She's very like divine, feminine energies. But yes, finding like working with the masculine to help with those feminine energies made it feel so much safer. Made it feel, I don't want to reiterate, it's the divine masculine. It's not what you think a human masculine should be like or could be like. It is that divine energy of the masculine that comes in for us. And that's that kind of switch around for me, or not even a switch around, the kind of inclusion of the masculine gods into my like pussy womb work really just took it to places I didn't expect it to. It took it to very lovely, amazing, magical, powerful places. And Cernunnous can help us with that. So let's go back to the cosmic flow yoga inspiration. She was talking about being her own lover. And that's what really stuck out to me, is what Cernunnous actually helps us with. I'd never phrased it like that in the past or thought of it like that in the past, but that's precisely what it is. He can help you, you know, he knows you in that intimate way that a lover does or can. And he can relay that to you so that you can love on yourself. You know, he knows how you want to be touched, so you can then, you know, hug yourself or, you know, like massage yourself wherever you want to be massaged. He knows what you're in the mood for and when you're in the mood for it, and you can go and, you know, do that for yourself as well. He knows when you need a spa day. He knows when you can push yourself in a workout. He knows everything about you, and he can help you rediscover that. And this is where a really important part of Cernunnous comes into play, and that's authenticity. And that's more into the wild man, but obviously all these things kind of leak and merge into each other as well. That's actually a very cool segue, which I didn't plan, and I wish I did, because then I'd be cooler about it now. I'd be slicker about it, but hey ho. So yes, so that was Cernunnous as the divine lover, helping you to be your own lover and creating the safety for you to work through any sexual trauma you may have, regardless of your gender. He can help you work through that trauma by giving you that safe space, you know, to let yourself cry and be held and be vulnerable. He gives you that space, and that it's not a softness, because that's more of like, you know, like a feminine thing, but it's that masculine gentleness, like that masculine vulnerability that really is just, makes me melt. And that's what he brings to that sort of trauma work, if you're comfortable with that. So then, like I said, that leads us nicely into Cernunnous as the wild man. So as I mentioned briefly before, the wild man or wild person is full of authenticity. The wildness lies within your truth, and his truth as Cernunnous, as God. And your truth is whatever you want it to be. My truth right now is that I want to be coming across as super professional and like a leader in my field, like I know what I'm doing, but I've got a banging headache and it's really distracting me, and the sunlight's really bright, so I think it might be a migraine, and my mind's just thinking about that. So that's my truth, is that I'm not, you know, as present or as kind of professional and leading as I'd love to be. And that's got to be cool. My wildness is that I've got a headache right now. Your wildness could be whatever it is that you're up to or feeling, and kind of accepting the truth of it is where the authenticity comes into play. Accepting that I'm not feeling great, and that's fine. I will make myself feel great soon, and that's cool. But in the meantime, that doesn't mean I can't be any less professional or any less of a leader in this sphere that we're in together. And the wildness is in the truth. That's always what I keep telling my students. Your wildness is in your truth, and the acceptance of your truth at that. And that's very important. So obviously we know all Cernunnous is the haunt god, and he kind of stalks through the forest. Stalks is the wrong word. That makes him sound like a predator. But, you know, he meanders through the forest, and he is just completely at one. You cannot separate Cernunnous from the woods, or the woods from Cernunnous. He is just this wild man that howls at the moon while lying on his back naked in the ocean. He is the man that, fixes a poorly bird's wing and releases it back into the wild. He is just that divine, masculine, wild, stag energy, very powerful, very virile, very, how is it? I said it to my students the other day. Horned gods are horned for a reason, and that can only mean one thing. The horny energy of the masculine is there. So he's always very potent, I think you could say. I don't want to get kicked off any other live streams. Facebook is honestly this close to kicking me out anyway. So close. But yes, as the wild man, he can really help us kind of rediscover or initially discover and remember our own wildness. Where, again, this is irregardless of gender, whether you're man, woman, non-binary, gender fluid. Ooh, Vida said something. Let's have a read. You think I'd wear my glasses for all of this, but alas. So Vida says, adore and love you, Rebecca. Oh, I love you too. I love you too, Vida. This is a delightful way to start my day. I would love to catch up soon. Absolutely. I will message you after this. If I don't because I've forgotten because of the migraine, you message me. But sending you so much love, Vida. I hope you have a fantastic, beautiful, magical day with Cernunnous by your side. Mwah. Enjoy yourself, lovely. So yes, as wild man, he can really help you connect back into your own wildness, or connecting initially anyway. And he does that by kind of, like with the lover, knowing you so well that he, in a loving and protective way, holds the mirror up for you to see your own truth as well. It's see the truth of your own headache, see how you think it's impacting you, and then see how it is actually impacting you. See the truth of, that you will always call in Lilith at the beginning of your day. You will always be a Lilith woman. See what that means for you. And once you start to accept every little or big, important or non-important part of yourself, this whole path of wildness will just unfold before you. And wildness is one of those things that was a big kind of like trendy word a couple of years ago, really now. I think not many people really spoke about what it gave you, but it's emotional freedom is what it gives you. Not only is it hella cool to be, dancing on a beach naked under a full moon with your sisters. That's hella cool, don't get me wrong. But it's also the freedom of your own, I don't know, like the voices that tell you that you're not worthy of this, or that you shouldn't be doing that, and who do you think you are. It's freedom from any sort of self-doubt, negative self-talk, limiting beliefs. It's just absolute emotional freedom, and it's glorious. And then the freedom obviously comes more confidence, more abundance, more sensuality, more pleasure, more anything that you want in your life. It brings you all of that, and it's fantastic and marvelous, and I thoroughly recommend it. Always will, always do. So yes, I think that's everything I wanted to say. So Cernunnous as protector, as divine masculine lover, and as wild man. I think I've also answered everybody's questions, have I? Yeah, I've answered everyone's questions from yesterday as well. I love it when that happens. Amazing. So, my lovelies, oh, look at that, bang on time. So, my lovelies, I'm trying to think, when will you see me next on a live stream? I'm going to say 2 weeks today. I might not have a guest speaker arranged by then. I may well. We'll see. But I will release more details about that end of next week. But you can always catch these temple talks on the replays, and that's on Facebook, in the private group, and on my page as well, on the YouTube, how old am I, bloody hell, on YouTube and on Instagram as well, on my feed there. So lovelies, I will see you soon. I hope you continue to have a fantastic rest of your week and have a really joyful, playful weekend, tapping in to your inner wild person with the help of Cernunnous. So, sending you all so much love. Love to you, Facebook. Even though Facebook hates me. Love to you on YouTube. And love